Hello, everybody. This is Carol Lake with Total Wellness Coach, and today I am back with Steve Vance with
Wellness Warrior.
Wellness Warrior. Yay! And we're here again to talk about our brain health, exercise, cognitive health, and we want to share what we do. I'm going to share what I do with Ageless Grace. Steve, you're going to share with what you do with Parkinson's, correct?
You got it.
All right.
Wellness and recovery.
So why don't we start with the cognitive health? All right. People are beautiful age. I'm noticing even with clients 50 and older, they're talking more about brain fog and forgetfulness, and they even talk about balance a lot. Oh, I'm afraid of falling. So, what are you doing with your clients at this point? How do you help them?
Yeah, so I think, we've talked about this before about doing the exercise in order to get them stronger so they do feel better about their balance.
Yeah,
Working on your balance helps you with your balance, right?
exactly.
So you got to put into practice what you want to get better at. So anytime you can do that is good. Whether so this is just a side note, but this is just for all older adults. I mean, practice it when you're in the kitchen. Stand on one leg. I mean, you have the countertop there to help support you. Shuffling side to side when you're cooking, that's another activity that could cause instability. But if you practice that while you have a countertop there, then, you have at least that safety net there in case you do feel a little bit unstable to grab onto. So practice, practice, practice.
Exactly. I'll be creating a couple videos that I can share with reader or people who are watching and even logging onto my website that are exercises for the stability muscles that I call in our legs, our ankles, and even our feet. People don't realize how much work our feet do and the muscles that are in our feet to provide the balance. That's key here.
Yeah, because most of the time everybody has their feet in shoes, which are kind of like casts and don't let your foot muscles work. So it's important to work your foot muscles.
So in other words, take off those shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay to walk, especially if you're in a safe environment like at home. Take your shoes off while you work out or do anything actually, in a safe environment like that. Obviously, if you're going to the gym or you're going outside where there might be sharp and pokey things, then you want to have shoes on. But in those safe environments, definitely take them off.
Yeah. Perfect. That's really great advice. So let's talk brain health here. So with the cognitive, I tell people it's great to continue doing new things because you don't want to do things that you're used to because your brain literally gets used to it. So I ask my clients, please try something new once a day. Try to, do the crossword puzzle. For all of us 80s folks here. Remember the Rubik's Cube?
Yeah.
Get out there, do something that's going to have to make you really think. Drive a different way. If you're so used to driving the same way to go to your job or go to your family's house, try a different route so that you're firing the neurons in your brain. What else would you suggest?
So, with my clients, I talk about the social connection
Oh,
because
yeah,
when you're
that's
out
right. Yeah.
socially with people, then you're going to have to think differently. They might ask you about something that happened in your past, or what do you think about these things? Or, if you're in a community that has a events coordinator, I just talked to somebody that have one of those now.
Oh,
But
wow.
sometimes there's clubs and stuff that you can get involved in.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's playing cards, maybe it's shuffleboard or whatever, just to keep
Okay.
that mind active. And it also works on your coordination since
Mm-hmm.
generally speaking, a lot of people get less coordinated as they age.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that's great advice. So let's see. Let's talk the cognitive health. Try new things. Drive a different way so that you're using your brain. It's also still good to do the crossword puzzles, the Rubik's, anything that is going to engage that your brain just doesn't remember and it
Right.
has to learn.
Right.
So think about children, babies, how their brains, they have to look at it and figure things out. That's what we want to continue to do. So try
Right.
painting, um, crocheting, anything, working on model airplanes, something
Yeah.
that's going to make the mind have to work so that it's keeping your brain healthy and helping you not to be in brain fog. The next podcast that we do, I really would love for us, not now, but to talk about supplements that really
Yeah.
help with brain health. A lot of
Definitely.
people aren't aware of that, so that would be something that I'd love to talk to you the next time we're together
Cool.
and we can share with our listeners. So tell me about your exercise program, and then I'll share a little bit about Ageless Grace. So both of our programs are designed to help people with the balance, the memory, the cognitive health. What do you
Right.
do?
So in the program that I do, we kind of focus on 4 different areas. So we focus on bradykinesia, which is that slowing down of movement that
Mm-hmm.
that people tend to do when they age, especially in Parkinson's. Um, Rigidity, as we age, we shouldn't necessarily get rigid, but a lot of us don't exercise enough to stop that process.
Mm-hmm.
In coordination, which we already talked about, and the automaticity. So automaticity is kind of like blending the exercise with something else. And this is for another show, but we'll talk more about that as we go.
Mm-hmm.
So how does the program that I teach deal with that? So there's 4 basic moves that we do, and we do it in a bunch of different positions, I guess you would say. But the first move deals with posture. So we're trying to fight gravity. We're trying to get full extension of our body.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can fully extend our body, then we can help our posture, because you know people as they age, even like 5-year-olds now, they're getting more hunched over because they're looking at
Mm-hmm.
the devices. So not only does that happen for older adults and people with Parkinson's, but it also happens to our kids too. So we got to be diligent about that. The next set of exercises that we do is about weight shifting. So think about all of those exercises or all those things that you do during the day that you have to shift your body weight.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about one before. When you're shifting side to side, when you're at a counter making something for dinner or lunch or whatever, you have to move side to side. You have to move your body, shift your body weight when
Mm-hmm.
you're, moving in a, like, in a booth, like in a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be able to shift your body weight. Even like if you're down on the ground, you have to shift your body weight forward and to the side. So that's the second grouping of exercises that we do. Axial mobility is the third one, which is just keeping that spine active, working your core and
Mm-hmm.
doing fast movements, while we're working our core. And then the last one is transitions, getting from one place to another. So think about like getting out of a car. You need to really lift your leg up high to get
Mm-hmm.
lifted out of the car and back into the car. So posture, weight shifting, axial mobility, and transitions are the 4 different groups of exercises. And we do those 5 different ways. So we do them standing, sitting, on all fours, on our belly, and on our back. And
Nice.
and depending on like how advanced the Parkinson's is, they might not be able to get all the way to the ground. So then we do like on all fours, standing and sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're at a point where they can't get on the ground, then we do standing and sitting. So yeah, those are the kind of the big things that I do
Mm-hmm.
when I work with Parkinson's
Right.
people that have Parkinson's in an exercise program.
Nice. And those exercises truly help them to with their vitality. I'm sure once they become confident, strong, they feel better, they're looking better, and they're able to accept and work more to, should I say, towards better health for themselves, so
Right.
that they can, I say, positive attitude, you're going to defeat, you're going to be strong, you're going to be healthy, so that they
Right.
can have a very um, beautiful lifestyle going forward, and not be afraid, like you said, of the falling, the transitions, getting out of the car, maybe even into a shower. I mean, I
Yeah.
understand
Right.
that's a lot of people's concerns at this point. So
Right.
yeah, that's awesome. For my program, it deals with it's called Ageless Grace, and there are 21 tools that we use, and basically it hits the 5 areas of the brain. So your strategic planning, memory and recall, analytical thinking, kinesthetic learning, and what is the other one? Being creative. So
Definitely.
what you do with this is it's all done sitting in a chair, and
Okay.
there we play really fun music, because music actually helps fire the neurons in your brain because of
Right.
memory, because we want to recall songs that are from years gone by to the present. And it's also fun. Let's just, let's go there. It's fun.
Right.
So we're sitting in a chair, and a lot of people think, oh, you're sitting in a chair, that's not work. Oh, it's a lot of work. So let's just say, like
Ooh.
you talked about spine. Okay, so we have one that's juicy joints. It's about stretching while you're in the chair different ways.
Yeah.
We have one that's called spelling bee. So again, because we want to use the left and right side of the brain, we'll start spelling with our fingers or maybe our elbow. We can even use our belly button, and then we'll spell it backwards. So
Nice.
that's, kind of
Love
a
it.
challenge. People will be like, what? So let's even get a little bit more harder here. We also have one that's called gentle geometry. Sounds like fun, but again, we're doing the same thing. Maybe we're using our finger to make a triangle. Well, then we're going to use our other hand while we're making a triangle to make a straight line. And then we'll include the foot. So put all those three together.
Nice.
Your
Yeah.
brain really has to think and engage. So
Love it.
that's kind of like a little, taste, of what I do with the Ageless Grace program. And like I said, it's a lot of fun, because I even go up there and I'm making mistakes and we just all start laughing,
Yeah.
because and
Exactly.
that's the other thing. When you laugh, it's producing the happy hormones in the brain.
Right.
So
Right.
it just engages everybody. So that's kind of, like I said, a little snack of what I do with my Ageless Grace program. And
Yeah.
again,
Love it.
it's all done sitting.
That's
Yeah.
really cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some components of my program that go into like the cognitive function.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, we'll have to explore more about that. But
And I would love, again, another podcast where we could sit down and talk about this,
yeah,
show you an example of what it is so everybody can understand, and then I love for you to give an example. So
yeah,
that is something for everybody who's listening and tuning back in. We'll just let them know this is a little teaser. We will show you exactly what we do, so that they can get excited if it's for them, or maybe it's for a loved one.
yeah, definitely. Or
Yeah.
working a posture even for your 5-year-old grandchild,
Say
right?
that again.
We could even do the posture stuff for your 5-year-old
Oh,
grandchild if you have a young daughter.
exactly. Exactly. I love it. And you know what's a fun thing about Ageless Grace? We also do it with elementary students, kindergarten and up. And we do it to, again, really fun, cute music. And they just think it's a blast. They
Yeah,
just love it because they're doing their fingers to their nose and touching their knees. And then we just kind of do a little goofy thing. So they have a lot of fun. And again, it's all about the excitement that helps keep us healthy, especially our bodies and our brain.
right. I remember when I was teaching 3 and 4-year-olds, we used to do some of the Parkinson's movements just because we could be super loud because, you know, in Parkinson's, your voice kind of gets smaller. So we kind of yell a little bit during the program too. So I
Mm-hmm.
would do that with 3 and 4-year-olds that I had in this one little class that I taught. And yeah, they ate that stuff up.
Exactly. So there you have it. We will be getting back together hopefully soon so that we can do another podcast, share our passion for health and wellness, especially helping people to keep their brains strong and healthy and their bodies strong and healthy. Anything else you'd like to say before we come to a close?
Oh, that was great. I love it. And I like that we have, or all of our listeners have that ability to join us next time and even learn more, like specific
Exactly.
exercises or other health and wellness things
Mm-hmm.
that we just want to share
Yeah,
and help
definitely.
them be healthier people, for themselves and for those that
Mm-hmm.
they love.
So, like I said, more podcasts to come talking about the diet, supplements, showing you exactly what Ageless Grace is and what you do for Parkinson's with the exercise.
Yeah.
And I feel like that we can reach many, many people and have them be vibrant, not vintage. Let's stay strong, folks.
I
Let's stay
love it.
healthy. The best is yet to come.
You got it. That's
All right, till
absolutely right.
next time.
All right.
Take care. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, bye.